Want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Pistons Talk Podcast presented by FanDuel. Game 7, do or die, Pistons Magic, first round. Man, what a victory for the Detroit Pistons to advance to the second round of the playoffs. Before we even get started on this post-game show, you guys, before we get into the quarter notes like we usually do, box score, open up the show to comments and questions, I want to know how you guys are feeling after watching this first round series. It's been a long time since the Detroit Pistons have had any type of playoff success. What we're going to do before we even get this started, got some bourbon from Off Hours Whiskey, official sponsor of the Detroit Pistons. Go check them out at the Chevy Plaza. We got to take a shot, you guys. We got to take a shot for the Detroit Pistons winning their first playoff series in 18 years. 18 years, you guys. That's how long it's been. Let's take a shot real quick, and we're going to get into this post-game podcast. Let's do it. Down the hatch. Ooh-wee, man. Head is strong. I have not had whiskey in a while. Holy crap. Someone's going to clip that. I know they're going to clip that. Whew. Man, that is strong-ass whiskey. Holy crap. That is strong, man. Let's go. Let's get into this post-game podcast. I am so hyped. I am so excited for you guys that have been tapping on in with us all season long, been subscribed to this YouTube channel for 6-7 years now. But let's get into this post-game podcast with the first quarter. First quarter, I love the way that we came out defensively. We started the game excellent. Sarah Thompson and Cade Cunningham, man, they were just making big plays defensively. They were making sure that Orlando wasn't getting comfortable, with their shots. Jalen Durham, man, shout out to JD. Best game I've seen out of him all series. I know I've been really hard on him all series, but it's because he had such a good regular season of just being a double-double machine, grabbing rebounds. He had his best game, I think, personally, in this first round series. I need that Jalen Durham for the rest of the playoffs. Now, whether we play Cleveland, whether we play Toronto, their game is going to be starting in a couple of minutes. But whoever is the winner of game 7 for them, that's who the Pistons are going to be seeing in the second round. But shout out to Jalen Durham, man, just grabbing those offensive rebounds and just giving the Pistons more opportunities to score in the first quarter. Obviously, Paolo Banchero was really the only scoring option for them in the first. He kept it close for them. Orlando started attacking the Pistons paint. That's something that been doing all series. But after a timeout, it got much better. They weren't really allowing Orlando as much dribble drives. And the Pistons looked much better in their half-court sets. I'll just say, even though the shots were not falling towards the end of the first quarter, I still like the process of them getting into their actions. And they were good quality looks. Orlando did have a 2-point lead after 12 minutes of play, so it was 22-20. To start the second, Duncan Robinson did pick up his second foul, so J.B. Bickerstaff decided he was going to roll with Danish Jenkins, who had a phenomenal game as well, really scored the basketball well for the Pistons. And the Pistons were able to go on a 7-0 run to regain their lead after Cade Cunningham did hit a triple. So it was 38-35. Had Paul Reed back in this game. Obviously, Stu did play a little bit as well, but JB looked to get some of that energy and some of that just tenacity that we saw out of Paul Reed in game 6. And, he did his job in game 7. We did lose our challenge to Tony Brothers, which, listen, you guys, he's the one official that, I've never seen an official actually go like this and challenge his own call. But the call that the Pistons lost their challenge was an Anthony Black was kind of driving to the basket. They said that Paul Reed twisted his body and fouled him. I mean, if that is a foul in the NBA playoffs, I don't know. A little right about Tony Brothers, man. He's probably the worst official out of all the officials that I've seen this year. Just hang it up, man. You've been doing it for 30 years. I think it's time to hang it up. Both teams did exchange baskets in the second quarter, but shout out to Tobias Harris, man. Uncle T, man. He was just in his bag. 17 points for the Pistons. In the second quarter alone, he did finish with 30 points to end the game, but the Pistons were able to have a monster quarter. They dropped 40 points in the second quarter, and they go into halftime 60-49. Coming out of halftime, really loved just the way that the Detroit Pistons were assertive, had their foot on the gas pedal, and they were able to just rotate defensively, get stops, get into the half court sets, get into transition opportunities, and they go up as much as 20. Now, Orlando did go on a little run there. They went on a 7-0 run with Paolo Banchero, led by him, I should say, and they get within 13. But Danish Jenkins was able to just play excellent defense in that third quarter. And like he always does, man, like I know he's taking that shot if there's like 5 seconds left to end the third. He hits this incredible 3-point buzzer beater over Mo Wagner. And the Pistons end the third 83-64. And just to start the fourth, they just erupted. They were just hitting threes. They were up as much as 25 at one point. And Orlando did what I expected them to do. They started trapping the Pistons, and they go on this 15-4 run. They get within 14. Pistons did answer back, going up 20, with just big shots from Tobias Harris, Cade Cunningham, Duncan Robinson, and Jalen Duren with some putback dunks and lobs as well. And the Pistons win this game and win this series. 116-94 was the final score. Like I mentioned earlier, first playoff series win since 2008. And what's kind of funny about the Magic and the Pistons, so the last time the Detroit Pistons trailed Orlando in a series 3-1 was 2003, when Tracy McGrady was just lighting us up. As you guys know, if you were around like I was, they decided to put Tayshaun Prince on T-Mac because he was just going crazy. Pistons come back to win that series. But what's also kind of funny about like the Pistons and Magic in the first round, or just playoffs in general, the last time they won a playoff series was actually against the Magic in 2008. It was the Eastern Conference semifinal. So, history does repeat itself. Pistons were bound to play the Magic, and they were bound to, get out of the first round. I know a lot of us were very upset being down 3-1, but I've been pretty consistent with my message with you guys. I always felt in this series the Pistons weren't really getting beaten by the Orlando Magic. They were beating themselves. They were turning the ball over 20 plus times. They weren't hitting their free throws. They weren't boxing out. Past 2 games, I've loved the rebounding. Now, Orlando did get some offensive rebounds, but it wasn't as much, and they were able to corral defensive rebounds. They took better care of the basketball. Now, the fourth quarter, I'm just going to, put out the window. That was just Orlando being desperate, trying to trap. I know the Pistons had, I think, 8 turnovers in the fourth, but overall, the past 2 games have done a much better job of taking care of the basketball. And Cade Cunningham said it post-game, like, Orlando made us a better basketball team in this first-round series. I think it's a series that they needed, personally, after being down 3-1. I think it's a wake-up call they needed as well, because they weren't playing particularly well in this first round. These last 3 games, I think they cleaned up a lot of things, and they can prepare for whoever they're going to be playing, whether it's Cleveland or Toronto in the first round. I will say, though, either team will create good storylines. Cleveland would create a hell of a storyline. JB Bickerstaff got fired by Cleveland. He'll have a chance to play his former team and possibly, send them home in the second round. And then Toronto, I think, is a cool storyline because Canada is so close to Michigan, and you're going to have all these Windsor and Toronto Raptors fans trying to come over to LCA, right? So, either way, both of those teams present different challenges, but I do like our chances in a second round series. I want to go over the box score just to kind of outline this game, because we had some unsung heroes in this game, especially Tobias Harris, man. Shout out to Uncle T, man. 30 points, 11 out of 18 from the field, 5 out of 7 from 3. When he was not shooting his best from the perimeter, he was just feeling it tonight. Also grabbed 9 big rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. It was a plus 22 in the plus minus. 30 points by Tobias Harris. I love it. One thing I will say, though, I've seen so many Philly fans drag this man's name through the mud, and obviously I get it, not scoring in an elimination game. They were really upset that they paid him a bunch of money, and he wasn't productive. But Tobias Harris has been so consistent in this first-round series for the Detroit Pistons. Shot so efficiently and they needed all 30 of his points tonight, if you do ask me. They really did. When the Pistons were trying to get back into this game, when they were trying to get the lead back, when they were trying to sustain a lead, when they were trying to make sure they could close out Orlando, Tobias Harris gave them 36 great minutes. Shout out to Uncle T, man, just showing up for the veteran that he is, just a true pro. He's a free agent this year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him, but just wanted to give him a little bit of a flowers for just showing up tonight. Duncan Robinson in 36 minutes had 10 points, didn't shoot the ball the best from the field. He was 4 for 13 from the field, 2 out of 10 from 3. Did have 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 3 steals as well. He was a plus 15. Jalen Duren, 15 points, 5 out of 9 from the field, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. He was a plus 27 in the plus minus. That's Jalen Duren I thought we were going to get in these first round series, but hey, better late than never. You got the second round coming up very soon. If you can kind of lock in back to like what he was doing during the regular season of being a double-double machine out there, I do like the Pistons' chances if he's starting to regain his confidence. I don't know what happened the first 5 games of this series. Past 2 games, I feel like he's getting his confidence back. I did hear when I was at a Pistons watch party, a Detroit Pistons employee told me that the Magic were mentioning Angel Reese almost every time he had the ball in his hand. So I don't really know if that was kind of mental warfare on their part, but hey, you get it out of the first round, don't have to worry about her. Even though the Pistons fans, oh my God, I forgot I should have mentioned this. They were chanting Angel Reese's name when Wendell Carter was at the free throw line. I was like, oh my God, you guys are trolls, but I love you guys. If you guys were at the game and chanting that, absolutely hilarious. I'm sure you guys probably heard it on the TV. Like, are they chanting Angel Reese? Like, yeah, they're chanting Angel Reese. But shout out to JD, man. Double-double, we needed it. Cade Cunningham, man, 39 minutes, 32 points, 10 out of 18 from the field, 4 to 6 from 3. That three-point shot looks like it's coming back a little bit. 8 out of 10 from the free throw line, 12 assists, 1 rebound, 4 turnovers, plus 29, led the team in plus minus. 32 and 12 by Cade in an elimination game. Like, incredible. I believe he's the second Piston since Isaiah Thomas to drop a double-double in an elimination game. So anytime you can share a record with Isaiah Thomas, you were doing something right. Sar Thompson, 34 minutes. He did have 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He's a plus 12. Did his thing out there. And the bench unit, like, all over the place. Paul Reed did get 2 minutes. Didn't really do anything. He was out there for a very short amount of time. Tolu Smith got garbage time in 1 minute. Didn't really do anything. Isaiah Stewart got 8 minutes. Had 1 rebound, 1 turnover. Didn't really contribute. Ron Holland got 1 minute. Javonte Green got 14 minutes. Scored 3 points, 2 rebounds. Marcus Sasser and Chaz Lanier got garbage time as well. Danish Jenkins got 29 minutes, 16 points, 5 out of 8 from the field, 4 to 5 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, plus 5. JB Bickerstaff decided not to play Karis LeVert when he's been a mainstay in the rotation. He decided he was just going to roll with Danish Jenkins and Javonte Green off of his bench, have a very short rotation. He's basically only doing like a 7-man rotation in this game. Which is kind of progress from JB, I would say, because if you guys remember game 1, he played over 11 guys, but Karis LeVert didn't play, and obviously Kevin Huerter did not play because he did have a left abductor strain. TBD on him. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but if he is out for any significant time, I would probably think Danish Jenkins and Karis LeVert are going to get most of your minutes. Don't really see Marcus Sasser or Chaz Lanier getting any type of like burn at those shooting guard minutes. It kind of seems like JB is pretty in love with Danish Jenkins right now, kind of playing off ball next to Cade and also being that facilitator off the bench as well. If we do look at the team stats, Pistons just outshot the Magic from the field and from 3. They shot 51% as a team from the field, 48% from 3. They just had a hell of a game from 3, 16 out of 33. They were going to be very hard to beat. And they also shot a very good percentage from the free throw line, 18 out of 22, 82% to the Magic 73. Took care of the boards, 41 to 33. got 11 offensive rebounds. Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson were very big contributors in that area. As for assists, the Pistons were moving the ball too, 30-18. Magic did get more steals, but that was just because of the fourth quarter and all the pressure they were having. They do win the margin battle there, 11-9. They also have more blocks, 7-6. But the Pistons were able to only turn it over 14 times. Now, again, like they didn't have that many turnovers to start the fourth quarter. The Magic did end the game, forcing them to turn over the ball 8 times. So they did take care of the ball for 3 quarters. So you can live with that. And it was just desperation by the Magic at that point. Points in the paint, the Pistons do win that battle as well, 38-28. And we always talk about the margin battles with the Pistons. They won basically every margin battle that you want them to win, but hell of a game by them. I do want to get into Q&A with you guys. Open up the show. I'm sure there's tons of comments for you guys to just kind of want to talk about this game, talk about the Pistons getting out of the first round. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to go through the comments, and then we'll have it chill rest of the podcast, just kind of recapping this game and maybe kind of talking about who the Pistons could possibly play in the second round, how you guys are feeling after Game 7, or just any really Pistons topic. You know, it's open for them, but we'll be right back after a quick commercial break, you guys. Okay, you guys, we're back. Let's get into Q&A. I did see a bunch of you guys just drop some comments about this first round series, some second round series questions. So we're going to get into it. Man, I did not expect that whiskey to be that strong. My throat is just on fire right now. Holy crap. Mm. Shout out to the people over at Off Hours again, man. Really good whiskey. If you guys are looking to go visit them at the believe they're at the Chevrolet Plaza if you guys want to go check them out. But let's get into the Q&A. So I want to get into Piston Fan 11. He's always an OG in here. Saying Pistons back from 3-1 to beat the Magic just like 03. History does not repeat, but sometimes it rhymes. Mark Twain, Pistons fan. Yeah, it was kind of funny because I remember when they were down 3-1, a bunch of people were posting like the 3-1 graphics about how Orlando was up 3-1 before and they just couldn't close it out. I did like the Pistons' chances after they did get a second win against Orlando because it seemed like they're like, okay, like if we don't turn the ball over, we hit our free throws, we rebound the basketball, like we can beat this team. But they weren't really so much beating the Pistons. The Pistons were beating themselves. And I said that all these post-game podcasts. Like I never really felt like the Pistons were getting outmatched by Orlando. They were just beating the Pistons in margins that they usually take care of and they usually win. So you got to credit JB Bickerstaff for making adjustments in this series. I know he does get a lot of negative comments, I would say, not from Pistons fans, not from like you guys, but you see like a lot of Cavs fans saying like, see, this is why we had to let him go because he doesn't make adjustments. He was able to make adjustments, these past 3 games, like playing Paul Reed in game 6 was huge, shortening his rotation from like game 1 to game 7, where we were playing 11, we only played 7 tonight. Really? Even if you did look at the team stats, he was only really playing Danish Jenkins and Javonte Green. So JB Bickerstaff is learning on the fly from his previous mistakes. But yeah, I mean, like, being down 3-1 and being able to, win 3 straight to advance to the second round is huge. I mean, Tobias Harris and Cade Cunningham have just been so crucial for the comeback. I want to get into Marquez's comment saying this experience might help them grow moving forward this postseason. Go Pistons. Absolutely. I think every game is an opportunity to learn, whether you win or lose. I thought them being down in the series was a good punch in the mouth that they needed. I think a lot of Pistons fans going into this series, I saw some of you, I'm not going to like label all of you, but I did see some Pistons fans thinking this was going to be a sweep or a 5-game series, right? Orlando plays a very tough physical style brand of basketball. And they're a very hard team to execute when you're playing out of half-court sets because they have so many lengthy defenders. I think the series was a good opportunity for the Pistons to take care of the basketball, box out, get your defensive rebounds, and how important a possession can be, because there were several games in this series where the Pistons had over 20-plus turnovers. And you kind of, talk about taking care of the basketball and how much possessions matter in a first-round series. Like, this was a very good battle test for the Pistons. And Kate even said it, like, they made us better as a basketball team. Like, we learned so much from playing them for, 7 games. And I think it's just a learning experience. I remember when we lost to the Knicks in the first round last year, Josh Hart was like one of the first Knicks players to say, like, the Pistons made us better, how physical they were, and they kind of, prepared us for the playoffs. And, the Knicks had a very deep playoff series. They're going to be playing Philly. That's going to be a dogfight, I think. I don't think that's going to be a series that's going to be a quick one. I could see that easily being a 6 to 7 game series with Joel Embiid being back, Paul George being healthy, Tyrese Maxey. Like, that's going to be a very tough series. So I think every experience, win or loss, you definitely can take things away from it, how you can make yourself better. Robert is just leaving LCA. He said, what an atmosphere. I have something to nitpick with ESPN because Peacock doesn't do this and neither does Amazon. They mute crowd noise on the broadcast where it's not as loud. So you didn't really get that full viewer experience if you were watching from home. Because a lot of people, I was scrolling the timeline, like, this is the loudest I've ever witnessed Little Caesars Arena before, right? It's really lame that ESPN does this across all their NBA playoffs games. It's not just the Detroit Pistons thing. Like, they kind of debuff crowd noise so it's not as loud. I don't know if that's so they can hear themselves talk during the broadcast or whatever it may be. But I know Amazon Prime and Peacock don't do it. I don't know why ABC/ESPN does it. It's kind of lame if you do ask me, but really cool to hear that the atmosphere at Little Caesars Arena was great. Funny thing, though, with LCA. So, as you guys know, the Pistons do share an arena with the Red Wings. The Pistons are the first team in that arena to win a playoff game. That's kind of wild, considering that's not our arena. We share it. And now, obviously, the Red Wings have not made the playoffs in, 10 years? If you would have told me when they built that arena that the Pistons would host more playoff games and win a playoff series, I don't know if I would have made that bet, because I really would have thought the Red Wings would have got their shit together, but they haven't. Hopefully they do. Felt like they were really close this year, but they always have that March collapse. But let's get back to the Pistons. I just kind of find that funny that the Pistons were able to get their first playoff series win inside LCA, and the Red Wings are it's kind of like the Squidward meme where Patrick and SpongeBob are having fun, and the Red Wings have to watch from the outside. But hey, man, I love all my Detroit sports teams, but it's kind of wild that the Pistons are having more success than the Red Wings. Jay Hart is so excited. This is like all caps. So let's get into his comment. Damn, we came so far, fellas, and these boys just came back from 3-1 and won the effing series. So proud, big brother moment. We literally watched them grow. I am so hype. I'm hyped too, man. I'm so hyped for this squad because I think a lot of us, and obviously, like you can reflect back to like how they started in the rebuild, like being able to, trade for Isaiah Stewart. Obviously, he's the only player left from that draft because you don't have Sadiq, you don't have Killian, you don't have Saban Lee. You were able to win the lottery. You get your franchise guy in Cade Cunningham. You were able to, get some second round guys. And I want to say Isaiah Livers was a second round pick. Balsa Copper Visa. Tested my Pistons knowledge for you guys. If you guys don't remember who Balsa is, he never played, but his last name was just like always really hard to say. I think he's over in Europe last time I checked. Luka Garza, who, he plays for the Celtics now. He had a pretty good series. We didn't even talk about the Celtics getting bounced out of the first round from Philly. Oh my God. Wouldn't that be hilarious if Joe Mazzulla won Coach of the Year and he got bounced out of the first round? He'd probably throw that trophy at the wall. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, like you get Cade out of that draft, you get your franchise guy. At 22, you were able to trade up for Jalen Duren. You trade for Jaden Ivey. Hope he's doing well, man. Really do. Really sad how everything has just kind of transpired, but looks like he's in good spirits. You get Jaden Ivey at 5. You trade up for Jalen Duren. You're able to get another foundational piece. 23, you get a SAR 5th overall. And you trade up for Marcus Safser. And in the 24 draft, you get Ron Holland, who has been just an energy and a spark plug for the Detroit Pistons. So you kind of look at how the Pistons got here and how they built through the draft. And I think the one thing I will credit Troy Weaver is, he laid the foundation. He got the core. And what Trajan has done since he's come in is he has made a lot of singles. I'm going to use a baseball term. Trajan has done a very good job of making such marginal moves that don't really take away from the core. Like he's been able to surround Cade Cunningham. His first year, he got Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley, got Dennis Schroeder at the deadline. You get these vets that, complement the young guys. This offseason, you do a sign and trade for Duncan Robinson, sending Simone Fontecchio there. You were able to kind of adjust on the fly. Kind of a shame what that did happen with Malik Beasley. Hopefully he is in the NBA soon, because I don't even think they have found anything, even though he's still, I think, under investigation, which is kind of whack. But you were able to kind of, sign Karis LeVert. You were able to get Kevin Huerter at the deadline. Like Trajan has made a lot of like just marginal moves. And I'm very curious to see what a big move is. Like what's the home run move, or what's the, the double move that Trajan does make this offseason, because there's a lot of reports that the Pistons are looking to go all in to try to maximize their window with Cade Cunningham and Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren. But just to kind of reflect how far that this team and how this core has come from winning 14 games 2 seasons removed to winning 60 games and getting out of the first round. Like, yeah, you can celebrate all the small wins along the way, but you do have to credit Troy for kind of building the foundation and Trajan picking up the pieces and, adding complementary pieces to this core to try to, help them elevate. Like you get Tobias Harris, who was huge in this game, really good vet, locker room guy. All the young guys speak very highly of him, but man, like you can kind of just reflect on like how much this team has grown in a 2-year period. And, JB Bickerstaff has done a very good job of reestablishing a Detroit Pistons identity and the Detroit Pistons culture that I think a lot of us, growing up, like we love the, the best 5 alive. And, if you're even older than that, like, growing up, supporting Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars and Dennis Rodman and John Sally and the Bad Boys, like you have that culture back. You have that tough grit. You have that defensive mindset where we're just going to F you up on the defensive end. We're going to scrap. We're going to die for loose balls. Like you have that same type of mentality right now with this current iteration of the Pistons, which We got to find a nickname for him because I don't think a lot of people are feeling the dog pound. I don't think a lot of people are feeling the nasty boys. Someone has to be creative with a new name for this current Detroit Pistons team because I'm not feeling the nasty boys. I'm just not. SW Lion 26. What's the old expression? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Maybe this makes the Pistons tougher to beat going forward. 100%. I know we kind of touched on like learning experiences from Marquez, and he's 100% right. I think in playoff series, what you learn about yourself as a player and what you learn about a team is what happens when your back's up against the wall. Like being down 3-1 showed us a lot of this team's resolve, showed us a lot about like where they're at mentally as a basketball team. A lot of teams shrink when, their backs are up against the wall, but I think this series definitely made them better. And I think it was kind of a wake up call of like, you have to do a better job in the possession battle. You have to make sure you're taking care of the basketball. You're not turning it over. You have to make sure that you're boxing out, getting your defensive rebounds, not allowing the opposing team to crash the glass and get more offensive rebounds and more possessions than you in a game. And you also kind of have to understand, like, when you're in half court sets, you really have to move the ball. It can't stick. You have to execute your offense. And I really felt these past two games, the Pistons have done that. They have kind of dusted off a little bit of the rust that was there, the first four games of this series. But I'm really excited to see what does happen in the second round. I want to get into this question. And it says, I think it's going to be a battle with either team we play next. So I kind of wanted to go into this a little bit more in depth, right? So I think when you kind of look at the teams that we could play in the next round, you have Cleveland and Toronto. Now, both of these teams present different challenges, and I will start with Cleveland. Cleveland, I think, creates a lot of challenges because of the isolation scores that they have in Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, right? Those are two of the best isolation scorers in our game, and they could easily drop 30 to 40 points at any given time. I think they present challenges in half-court sets. And they also have bigs in Jared Allen and Evan Mobley that can crash the glass, rotate, and protect the rim. And they have complementary shooters like a Max Strus, who looks like he's a little bit healthier now after, coming back from that Jones fracture. You also have Sam Merrill, who can light it up. Cleveland is a very good team. I think the reason why the Raptors are giving them so many problems is because James Harden's, I would say, playmaking at times is questionable at best. And that's kind of been a thing with him in the playoffs where, he doesn't really have the best, I would say, overall mindset in terms of just executing on a half court. Some of the plays are just kind of like, I'd be pissed off if I was a Cleveland fan. I would. But Cleveland does present challenges because of their bigs. They do have some wings as well that I think they could throw at Cade. Versus Toronto. Toronto is like kind of like the polar opposite of Cleveland because they have a lot of guards and wings that can light it up. Scotty Barnes is an absolute terror defensively. I know Brandon Ingram, I'm pretty sure he's still injured. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't checked. RJ Barrett can light it up. They do have bigs that have hurt us in the past, like a Yoka Pirtle. I still remember when Toronto grabbed 20 offensive rebounds, and we were kind of like, yo, like what the hell just happened during that regular season game? But Toronto presents different challenges because they like to play very fast up and down the court, and they have defensive-minded guards like Jamal Shved, who was teammates with Marcus Sasser at Houston, who they would probably just throw on Cade. They have tough guards that I think could present some challenges for the Pistons, especially when they're trying to get set in the half court. I think Toronto, to me, would be less of a challenge than Cleveland, just because I think the double bigs could deter the Pistons from trying to, dominate the points in the paint battle. You'd really have to move the ball to kind of negate their bigs from just like clogging the paint. I think Toronto would be an easier team to try to game plan for, but I think both teams are incredibly difficult to advance to make the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the rest of the way, these are just going to be absolute war, absolute just down to the wire games. But I do trust what the Pistons could definitely do in the second round. It sounds like a really funny comment that I want to put on the screen, but I know I can't because I'll get in trouble. Because you guys are crazy. But I honestly think the Raptors to me would be a little bit easier of a team to game plan for, just because they don't have the double bigs, and I still feel like we could win that points in the paint battle. J Cut wants to know if he's tripping or not. I swear Duncan Robinson was getting fouled the whole series and didn't get one call. I did feel like just officiating as a whole, right? I feel like he did get hacked quite a bit, especially on 3-point shots where they weren't, calling it. But officiating just in this whole series was very up and down. There wasn't any consistency. Like the games that Tony Brothers was officiating and the games that Jace Goble was officiating. There's a game that Scott Foster officiated. Like just the calls were just up and down. And I imagine for an official, this is probably the hardest series to officiate just because of the physicality that the Magic and the Pistons like to play. But yeah, I did feel that Duncan was getting, hacked quite a bit. I just do. But like I said, I'm not going to ride the officials too hard. The Tony Brothers one, though, like I've never seen an official actually go like this and review his own foul that he called. Jalen Suggs takes like a half court shot, and he thought Cade had a reckless closeout when Cade was just kind of trying to block the shot, and Jalen Suggs kicked his foot out. But yeah, like Tony Brothers to me is probably the worst official that I've ever seen, man. He's terrible. He is terrible, man. Like, he's a bad official when I had a Thunder fan comment in my DMs, and like the Thunder fans are used to SGA and the Thunder get to the free throw line. He's like, nah, man, like Tony's terrible. Like that's how I know he's bad. That's how I know he's bad. But I'm gonna wrap up this podcast, you guys. We've been on for about 40 minutes, but hell of a game. Had to celebrate. It's been a long time since the Pistons have won a first round playoff series. I do have some work that I do need to get done. We will be live again very soon when the Pistons play either the Cavs or the Raptors. It'll be really interesting to see who we're going to be playing in the second round. But hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. As always, go Pistons. Peace.